Doctor, how does he look?
Terrible. He's been on bypass too long. Let's prep a new organ.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're taking a closer look at the most shocking, disturbing, and high-profile mistakes made during surgery, including major problems involving those in the public eye, as well as the most infamous medical malpractice cases involving the general public.
The typical situation that is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's also true about the surgical suite.
Dana Carvey's botched heart surgery.
How could he get the wrong artery? And you said, I'm going to teach them a lesson.
Well, I just want them to be accountable.
Right.
Known primarily as an SNL comedian and for the role of Garth Algar in Wayne's World, Dana Carvey made the news for altogether different and more concerning reasons in the late 90s. He underwent major heart surgery to address a blocked artery, but during the operation at a California hospital, the surgeons mistakenly bypassed the wrong artery.
But the stents were kind of sort of bare metal, and sometimes they would restenose, which means the artery was not prepared for a controlled injury inside it, so it would build scar tissue.
As a result, the procedure did nothing. Carvey continued to experience the chest pain that he'd suffered beforehand, and so he required a second procedure to correct the mistake. After his clearly unnecessarily elongated recovery, Carvey filed a lawsuit and was reportedly awarded $7.5 million, which he donated to charity.
I'm very grateful, really, because when you have a 100% blocked widowmaker, lower anterior descending artery at 42, you don't know how long you're going to be around. And my sons are now young men, so I'm very grateful to be able to be around at this time in their life.
Linda McDougall's double mastectomy mistake. In 2002, Linda McDougall underwent a double mastectomy, thinking that she had been diagnosed with an aggressive breast cancer. That diagnosis, though, was incorrect. The misdiagnosis occurred due to a reported mix-up in her medical records at United Hospital of St. Paul, Minnesota.
What we've seen in the last decade or so is a downturn in the number of women choosing to preserve the breast and an upturn in the number of women choosing actually to remove both breasts.
Another patient's test results were mistakenly attributed to her, leading to her being the one who was operated on. Following the surgery, McDougall was informed that she'd never had cancer and that the entire operation had been unnecessary.
I do think it's important for patients and for physicians not to make these decisions based just on fear or your initial gut reaction when you hear the diagnosis of breast cancer.
Willie King's wrong site surgery. Willie King went into surgery in Florida in 1995 for a leg amputation due to complications from diabetes. However, he woke up from the procedure to discover that the surgeons had taken the wrong leg. Upon investigation, it was found that the catastrophic error had occurred due to a series of miscommunications and failures in the preoperative process. Multiple members of the hospital staff were implicated as the wrong leg was marked, prepped, and ultimately removed. Disciplinary actions included a lengthy ban for the lead surgeon, while King received a substantial settlement from the hospital, which admitted the mistake. But again, it goes down in history as a terrible case that prompted widespread reform in terms of checklists and protocol.
It's crucial that all rehabilitation measures are begun as soon as possible, regardless of the amputation level.
Olivia Goldsmith's fatal chin tuck. The best-selling author Olivia Goldsmith was renowned for her 1992 novel, The First Wives Club, which became the 1996 movie of the same name, starring Bette Midler, Goldie Hawn, and Diane Keaton.
I'm Monique's mother.
Yes, but Jason's going to go off to college pretty soon, and then I'll be even more alone. Plus, I'll be really a lot older, okay?
Tragedy struck in 2004, however, when Goldsmith attended cosmetic surgery for a reported chin tuck. It should have been routine, but the writer suffered a severe adverse reaction to the anesthesia administered at the beginning, which caused her to lapse into a coma. She never regained consciousness and died shortly afterwards. At the time, her shocking death brought to light the inherent risks involved in even seemingly minor cosmetic surgeries.
You spent your whole life with people sucking up to you. I'm sure Annie will agree with me when I say your perception of life is somewhat altered.
Bob East's wrong injection. In 1985, Bob East had recently retired from a long and distinguished career as a news photographer, notably for the Miami Herald. Unfortunately, he'd been diagnosed with corneal cancer, which made it necessary to remove one of his eyes.
How can I do what I do now? Well, let's say that I did spend an awful lot of time in the prison library. Now that was a great way to avoid some of the more unpleasant aspects of prison life.
East would ultimately lose his life during the operation, though, due to a catastrophic mix-up of chemicals in the operating room. Surgeons shot glutaraldehyde, a substance similar to the preservative formaldehyde, into East's spine, believing that they were administering spinal fluid. The mistake caused the patient to fall into a coma, leaving him brain dead. His family opted to remove life support a few days later.
If you take him off before then, you'll go blind. Understand?
Arturo Iturralde's deadly back surgery.
They went to reach for the titanium rods, which they had intended to implant into his spine. And they discovered they were not there.
When in 2001, 73-year-old Arturo Iturralde entered Hilo Hospital in Hawaii with back pain, he likely trusted his doctors to help. But in one of the most shocking cases of its kind, Iturralde's surgeon, Robert Ricketson, knowingly inserted a broken screwdriver into his patient instead. In subsequent trials for negligence, Ricketson reportedly claimed that he did so having realized mid-operation that he didn't have the titanium rods he was supposed to attach to the spine. The makeshift screwdriver soon snapped, however, and Iturralde was forced to return for a long series of subsequent operations. But he was ultimately paralyzed and died 2 years later. Joan Rivers' fatal endoscopy.
You are a legend. You're an institution.
No way. They never will recognize me.
Why do you think that?
I'm too outrageous.
An endoscopy is generally a routine procedure. But in 2014, the comedian and TV star Joan Rivers died as a result of undergoing one. She attended a New York clinic to have medical professionals examine her throat. But within minutes of the surgery beginning, complications arose.
She said she was having just a procedure on either her vocal cords or her throat in the morning.
Didn't seem concerned or anything?
No, not at all.
Rivers stopped breathing and went into cardiac arrest. After some time, she was resuscitated, but she had to be placed on life support and remained in a coma until, due to a lack of oxygen to her brain, she died 6 days later. An investigation revealed that unauthorized procedures were performed, and Rivers' plummeting vital signs were missed. Her daughter Melissa took legal action against the clinic and doctors involved.
You have to read the fine lines, but you're actually signing that the anesthesia that you're getting, the medicine that's actually causing you to go to sleep, the sedative hypnotic that you get, in this case, the propofol, can cause death.
Jessica Santillan's transplant tragedy. Jessica Santillan, a 17-year-old, received a heart and lung transplant at Duke University Hospital, North Carolina in 2003. She would ultimately lose her life via the operation, though, due to a massive error. The organs transplanted were of the wrong blood type, and as a result, Santillan suffered severe brain damage and died shortly after. Even efforts towards completing a second transplant couldn't save her, as doctors reportedly realized the fatal mistake only at the end of completing the initial procedure.
We have faith in the surgeon. We have faith in Dr. Jaggers as a surgeon. He is the one performing the second operation as well. We feel that there was a grave mistake made.
The tragedy was attributed to failures in the hospital's organ matching process and communication breakdowns among the medical team. Santillan's family filed a lawsuit, which eventually resulted in a settlement, while the case spurred significant changes in transplant protocols with the aim of preventing similar mistakes. Donda West's fatal cosmetic surgery.
Are you going to be rapping with him anytime soon? You know I love that gold digger. I ain't saying she's a gold digger, goldie. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I love that too. Good. I love that. But one of my favorites is Hey Mama, I have to confess.
In 2007, Donda West, mother of Kanye West, tragically died following complications from cosmetic surgery. West had reportedly had multiple procedures performed by Dr. Jan Adams in Los Angeles, who it was later found had been involved in multiple malpractice cases previously in their career.
The autopsy report shows that Donda was under anesthesia for 7.25 hours. This is a long time.
Post-surgery, West became unwell, and despite emergency medical intervention, she passed away the next day. An autopsy revealed that she died from coronary artery disease as well as other post-operative factors. Kanye publicly mourned the loss of his mother, while what happened also directly led to the signing of the Donda West Law in 2009, to make it mandatory for everyone undergoing cosmetic surgery to receive the correct medical clearance beforehand.
Mama, I want to scream so loud for you, 'cause I'm so proud of you, and let me tell you what I'm about to do.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Sherman Sizemore's wide awake surgery.
I got that.
If major surgery goes how it's supposed to, then the patient should be entirely out and completely unaware of what's happening to them. No pain or consciousness until they awake afterwards. But what happened to Sherman Sizemore is many people's worst nightmare. The 73-year-old clergyman went under the knife in 2006 for an operation on his gallbladder. But it's claimed that although paralyzing drugs were administered, general anesthesia wasn't. Sizemore could reportedly feel everything that was happening to him, but couldn't move or cry out to prevent it.
Look at my eye. Come on, man. Can you see that? Why am I crying, huh?
Some of his surgeons at the time denied that the anesthesia was missed, and other theories are that the patient suffered from a broader phenomenon known as anesthesia awareness. However it happened, though, the trauma ultimately led Sizemore to take his own life.
That's why we physicians specializing in anesthesiology must go through extensive training in order to be able to balance these competing goals, patient safety versus the rare instance of patient awareness.
Which of these cases are you most affected by? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.